All righty, welcome back to Division Therapy, episode 2. And hey, are we the best division in baseball? Some people are asking that question.
We might be.
Because we are the first division in baseball history to start off all 1-0. Did not stay that way, but that's a pretty cool way to start the season, don't you think?
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to the Nationals for beating the Cubs. The Marlins should beat the Rockies, but you never know. And who would have thought the Mets beating up bad on Paul Skeens? Day one, didn't even make it out of the first inning.
But was it Paul Skeens' fault? Was it Paul Skeens' fault? We'll definitely get into that a little bit later. But, yes, that was definitely a great way for both of our teams to start the year, beating up on both aces for both of the teams that we play.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Sunday, March 29th. So the first series has just taken place. The Mets sitting at 2-1. The Braves also sitting at 2-1. Today's game for the Mets was disgusting. And so was yesterday's, and they got lucky and they had really great momentum, coming into today's game. But and it was freezing in New York as well. So the runs were at a premium yesterday. But today, they had every opportunity to win this game, and just what a way to just, ruin any type of momentum. You think you're going to sweep the Pirates, you beat Skeens on Skeens Day, and then you lose today. I mean, it just is unfathomable.
Hey, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, same with the Braves today. I'm like, I will say we did face Seth Lugo, who unfacetiously has 10 pitches that he throws. He threw 8 of them today. I think he
former Mets legend as well.
Former Mets legend. Yeah, I think he didn't throw the slow curveball and then maybe the sinker. But other than that, he threw 8 pitches today, and he was dealing. He had a great day. Matt Strahm, clearly a big pickup for the Royals, also had a good inning in relief.
Yeah, that move with the Phillies letting him go, trading him, never really made sense to me, for being honest.
Really strange. Obviously, in relation to the Phillies, we're going to talk about, but clearly a great addition for the Royals. He came in for yesterday and today. The offense, is the Braves' offense. Honestly, things haven't really changed. It takes them a really long time to get started, except for the first game. Obviously, the first game, they were pretty consistent throughout, but second and third, obviously, they waited till the ninth yesterday, and today, the same thing in the eighth and the ninth. That's when they scored their runs. So I don't really know. It doesn't give me a lot of faith that we're going to consistently be able, but who does give me a lot of faith? Mike Yastrzemski and Dominic Smith, specifically Mike Yastrzemski. Man, he had a great first series. I believe he went 3 for 6 or 3 for 7.
You mentioned him in the first episode as well as kind of like an X factor for the Braves this year. So good on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Who did you see in your series that was really great? I saw Luis Robert had 5 hits in the first series. That's a great way to start off his Mets tenure.
I mean, it's got to be Luis Robert. I mean, you don't really know what you're going to expect coming from Chicago. You saw with Andrew Vaughn last year where he kind of broke out of Chicago and started hitting the ground running for the Brewers. And the same thing with Luis Robert. I mean, it started in game 1. I know he had that big walk-off, home run in game 2, but game 1, 10 pitch at bat versus Skeens in the first inning is something I've never seen from Luis Robert. And I'm not saying
Crazy.
I haven't watched that many Chicago White Sox games over the past 2 years. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone that did. But a 10 pitch at bat versus Skeens, his big thing is bat control and swinging at bad pitches, and so to work that count and then to eventually get Skeens out of the game was incredible. And I love his energy. I really love this guy's energy. He brings some life to the team. He has some speed on the team. He's been so impressive so far. But with the good also comes the bad. And Lindor, Soto, Bichette, that 1, 2, 3 of the lineup looks just awful right now. Mm-hmm. In the top of the 10th or the bottom of the 10th last game and on Saturday, it was just a pitiful approach. They had bases loaded, no outs. Lindor, ground out, force out at home. Same thing with Soto. And then Bichette. Bichette has struck out so much, and that is not his game. And so I'm not super worried about him with the bat.
He had consistency issues in Toronto. I'm like, we gotta keep that in mind. Sometimes it was brutal. I'm like, I think at some point he had even below a 700 OPS in Toronto. So he can struggle, and when times are bad for Bichette, times are really bad.
And they are, but they're also bad in the field. I was a supporter of the third base, Bo Bichette, I don't know how much longer this is going to last.
Did he have any errors this year?
I don't know. They
Okay.
I think he technically had one.
Okay.
But there were about 4 throws that were quite the adventure. Pulling Polanco up first, and some of it's on Polanco. Never played first base. He should know how to position himself a little bit better. But that's besides the point. Bichette, you got Beatty. Beatty's arguably, not even arguably, is clearly the better defensive third baseman. So I don't know how much longer they're going to last. Maybe put Bichette at first. I don't know, but something's got to change. And then,
I'm like, this is a real risk that the Mets have taken.
Risk.
Huge risk. I'm like, we're looking at an infield that I don't think we've really ever seen this many players making position changes to start the year and putting faith in these players that, one, have not played together, two, are like gonna have to really make some crazy catches, especially with Jorge Polanco, with Bichette's arm being as bad as it is. I'm like, I would be concerned moving forward. And listen, hopefully they grow into it and everything works out. But I'm like, listen, where are you going to put Bichette? What are you going to do with him? You can't DH three players at the same time.
I'm not too worried about him. He's gonna end up hitting 280. He's having his struggles early. And you know what? He owned up to it in the post game presser today. He said, "Listen," because the Mets fans were booing him. Today. And listen.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
He's already getting that Citi Field treatment.
That's the New York media for you. If you're not, what have you done for me now? And it's and so his response to that was, honestly, I would have booed me earlier. So he knows. And you know what?
Listen, but you gotta appreciate that. You gotta appreciate that. Those are the guys just like Lindor that are gonna do well in the New York market, not the ones that are gonna take it personally and act like they're the victim in every single situation. But let's take a look at our other, because we all card division therapy. We are not just a Braves and Mets podcast. We are a NL East podcast.
Minus the Phillies.
Minus the Phillies, but let's go ahead and start with the Phillies so we can just get them out of the way. Faced the Rangers. Now, the Rangers are an interesting team to start the year. A lot of interleague play for the NL East to start the year. Something that I hate these schedule makers. Shout out to the MLB schedule makers for just ruining baseball. I hate it. I want to play the Mets. I want to play the Marlins to start the year like it's supposed to happen. Yes, I'm like, playing the Royals was great. We won the series, but I don't know. It's just weird. But getting with the Phillies, I'm like, the offense looked pretty brutal. I'm like, it did not look super great. I'm like, let's take a look here at these box scores. I'm like, while I kind of pull these up, like,
they have Bohm and Stott batting 4th and 5th. Yeah. They were saying I'm supposed to fear this lineup, and it's like, I don't. I fear the first 3: Turner, Schwarber, Harper, whatever order you want to put that in. That's scary. But 4, 5, and beyond, Bohm, Stott. It's just. And you know what? They dodged Jacob deGrom. They were supposed to face Jacob deGrom. Woke up with some neck stiffness. The guy, it never ends with that guy. I love him. I love him to death, deGrom. But the guy can never stay healthy. Miss deGrom, so you face Jacob Latz, and then you lose the game. I couldn't believe it.
Listen, to start the series, Christopher Sanchez, shout out Christopher Sanchez, clearly a front runner for the Cy Young to start off the year. 10 Ks, had a great, and obviously they started the year off with a win and facing Evaldi, who is obviously that ace in the Rangers rotation to start the year. Put up 5 runs. I'm like kind of looking at Kyle Schwarber, obviously homered. So did Alec Bohm. We can't talk about the Phillies without talking about the terrible parents of Alec Bohm. That is just an awful situation.
Crazy.
Jesus, it's just a terrible way to start the year.
For those who don't know, Alec Bohm is suing his parents for, I believe, $3 million for mismanaged funds, I believe.
Just some great parents and playing
Weird
for a
stuff.
terrible organization. Just a terrible life to live, truly. But he did have a 3-run homer, so good for him. But I will also say quickly, talking about, is Jake Berger back? Jake Berger, one of the best names in MLB, had a great start to the year.
Not in the field,
but at the dish. I definitely think that he's going to be another great guy to watch this year. And I love me some Jake Berger, not just on the diamond, but also in MLB The Show. Great swing. But
moving down the map, and we see the Marlins 3-0, the upper echelon of the NL East.
But who did they play? Who did they play?
Come on, they're scheduled merchants of the Rockies, and it's okay. It's okay. You know what?
Colorado Rockies.
Listen,
oh my God.
You're supposed to beat the Rockies, and they did. I could not say the same about the Mets. If the Mets played the Pirates, they only took 2 out of 3. They probably should have
who
swept.
made that comment about that rotation? Yuri Perez, 7 innings. Sandy Alcantara,
They're nasty.
7 innings.
Yep.
Listen, this rotation is going to be good. Did they face the Rockies? Yes, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because if we were facing the Rockies and we swept them, we would be super happy to start the year. Clearly, Yuri Perez looked great. I don't know if you got a chance to look at the highlights of that game. His changeup is insane. That thing
nasty.
starts at the top of the zone and is at the bottom of the zone in a millisecond.
People forget how good he was. You know, he had surgery, and then last year he was a little shaky. He's another year removed from surgery. I think he might be Cy Young contender, dark horse Cy Young, and not only that,
I don't know about that. He needs to face a good team.
Yuri Perez.
Okay.
Yuri Perez. That might be top 1-2 punch in the NL East for rotations if we're being so honest with ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So remind me again, we had Peralta in the first game for the Mets, and then who were the other two?
David Peterson on Saturday, McLean tonight.
McLean. I'm like, obviously we love McLean, not in a U.S. jersey, but we love him. We love him in a Mets jersey. We'll say that. But I'm surprised that Nolan McLean isn't second in that rotation.
Just with the scheduling with the WBC. Yeah. He is the second best pitcher, maybe the first best pitcher in the rotation. But I'm looking at the Nationals, dude.
Yep.
What's going on with James Wood? I know he homered, but the guy strikes out almost every other at bat. I mean, last year he had a 40% K rate the second half, and he's just continued that trend.
He has a really fast swing, and that bat does not stay in the zone long enough. And when you have a super large strike zone like Aaron Judge does, for instance, one of the best hitters in baseball, not to start the year, but I'm like, obviously we can all agree that Aaron Judge is one of the best hitters in baseball. The reason that he is he keeps the bat in the zone a long time, and he kind of hits it to all fields. And I don't think James Wood can do that. He can't slap it to left. He can't get that double. And when he hits it a super long ways. But other than that, it looks kind of brutal, and that OPS to start the year is leaving a lot to be desired.
Dude, I would argue that I'm a diehard baseball fan. I'm looking up and down this Nationals lineup and rotation. There are names that I have never
heard in my life.
It is bleak, dude.
And it is insane that you look up and down that lineup, and Dylan Cruz is not a part of that lineup. Talk about a bust. Holy cow.
I think it's too early. It's too early to tell.
But you're telling me that this guy isn't a bust and isn't in this lineup of a bunch of 64-year-old commons? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is insane. Like he should be leading off for this Nationals lineup and leading them to some sort of victory and win. And he's in AAA while the likes of Dylan Lyle, which while he did have a pretty good series, is still like, if you ask the random...
I love me some Dalen Lyle. I
thought it was Dylan. Is it not Dylan? It's
Dalen. He's got a great skill set, Dalen Lyle. He'll give you 15 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and like a 280 average. He was great last year. I think he's like a very good building block for them. I read on Twitter that, or X, whatever you want to call it, I read that Dylan Cruz isn't able to make, or isn't wanting to make the changes to become a big league hitter. So I don't know what's going on there. But
whoa, what did you? Where's this coming from? What's
some
making changes? What do you mean he doesn't want to strike out as much?
He doesn't want to adjust. He doesn't want to make the adjustments to succeed, and so he got sent down. I mean, that was like totally unexpected.
Hey, listen, as a Georgia fan and him coming from the SEC, I wouldn't expect anything less from Baton Rouge. That's all I'm going to say there. But I'm like, yeah, if that is true, then Dylan Cruz needs to figure it out because he has an opportunity to play and really kind of make an impact on this Nationals lineup. And if he doesn't and he stays in AAA, I'm just like, clearly it's only going to end up being his fault, and he's going to be the one to blame when he fizzles out. So yeah, totally. That's insane. Okay.
So after the first series, how are we feeling? Give me a panic level 1 through 10. How are we feeling for the rest of the season for the Braves?
Yeah, I'm going to go 5 for now. I'm going to go. My main concern is the bullpen. Honestly, like, we actually did not give up that many runs, but then again, Piamps and like Beto and all of these guys facing better lineups. I'm like, this is insane. And these guys were out there in the 8th and the 9th.
Alex
And
Anthopoulos has to do more next offseason.
I just don't understand it. It clearly is an insane lapse in judgment from AA. To pay all these millions of dollars for these new, I don't know if you've seen the videos, the new LED lights in Atlanta. I'm sure it's going to be great when Rysel comes out for the save in the 9th and all these LED lights are super fancy. I'm super glad that he did that. But then again, it's not going to matter when we're losing 6-0. Like,
right.
It is so frustrating. And the fact that Chris Sale, as we know, is one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's a great start. And as we continue down that, Reynaldo Lopez, shout out Reynaldo Lopez. He did give up that 1 run to Salvi, but he had 6 great innings. And then to start the 7th, he did give up that home run.
Yeah, can't be mad at that.
That's honestly a great 1-2 punch. But then we go further down the lineup, further down the rotation. Grant Holmes, who was not bad, he did give up 3 runs.
He wasn't
today,
good. He wasn't good.
He wasn't good. His off speed, when that curveball is moving well, he is very good, but that thing was kind of just lollygagging into the zone a lot. That fastball was going down the middle.
It was on the same axis all game.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal.
Not a very effective. But then you got Fuentes. Pitching okay in the bullpen.
Hey, he came out 4 innings, great today, only gave up 1 run. For 20 years old, he's not going to be in the rotation that long, and he shouldn't be. And obviously we have a bunch of nobodies that we can bring into this, but at the end of the day, I would much rather have 6 innings of shutout ball, and then, if the bullpen gives up, the bullpen gives it up. But we need to give ourselves an opportunity to score as much as we can in that time frame.
That might be the most level-headed take I've ever heard. If the bullpen gives it up, the bullpen gives it up. I mean, who even cares? Like, that's insane. Dude, I'm pulling my hair out watching the Mets bullpen, watching Dickie Lovelady for the 2nd game. I'm just like, why? What is their obsession with Dickie Lovelady, bro? I know
great name.
Give me
great
somebody
name.
else.
Top
Give me
tier
somebody
name.
else, please. I mean, I gotta put the Mets panic at like a 4. Like, I can't complain that much, but the top of the lineup is scaring me a little bit. Soto, Lindor, and Bichette, nothing. Just gave us nothing. I thought Lindor might have gotten a home run today. It ended up being a triple, and then Soto scores him. But
can I make one comment? Who the fuck is Tobias Myers?
Oh, come on. You're sleeping on Toby?
I don't like some of these guys. I like obviously. Okay, I know Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Brooks Raley.
You should know Tobias Myers. Tobias Myers got traded with Freddie Peralta. He's kind of a demon, honestly. If we're
from Milwaukee.
From Milwaukee, yeah, dude's kind of a demon. Like he could be in the rotation, but like they have him as like a long relief guy. He's nasty.
Yeah, I'm like the fifth.
Shout out,
okay.
Shout out Carson Bench. Okay,
Yep.
the first two at bats on Thursday looked totally overmatched. Looked like he didn't belong. I was texting my friends and I said, "Whoa, welcome to the show, Carson Bench," and in an ironic way, obviously. But then the third at bat hits one out.
Hits one out, and
Like
that
it's nothing.
that swing looked great.
He's lean. He's like a small dude.
Yeah, he's not, but clearly I'm like, swinging those hips, as they say.
Baseball, baseball players come in all shapes, sizes, forms, whatever you want.
Trash cans, as we like to say. Okay, looking at the player of the week, I'm like, obviously, I'm gonna say for the Mets, I'm like, it's got to be Luis Robert. I'm like, obviously, the walk off 5 hits in his first series. I'm like, clearly he's going to be great. And I will say we need to be prepared that there's going to be some rough times. Okay,
there'll be a 600.
There's going to be some rough
month,
yes,
for sure.
Yeah, but sure. I'm like, I think that we can agree that he is the player of the week. And here comes the confetti. Congratulations, the Mets made a good move in the offseason.
Was that so hard for you to say?
Oh, is that might be the first time ever, right?
Right.
Because the Mets don't make a lot of moves in the offseason. And obviously I'm saying that sarcastically because, as I say, I play MLB The Show and they just released this new threads thing, and it's like new players that just joined new card art, and the Mets had the most cards because they're the ones that always
totally revamped the entire team. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, they obviously did a lot in this offseason, and congratulations. It paid off for you.
I'll go for your player of the week right now. Also a walk-off home run. Former Mets legend
Boom.
Dominic Smith.
That was so sick. Oh my God. I was running around my house screaming. Olivia thought I died because I was screaming so loud. That was so sick. I will say, and I just want people to understand the analytical mind that is coming out of Liam Hury here. I dropped Carlos Estevez. I originally drafted him in fantasy, and then I was doing some research and realized that his fastball velocity went from 96, 95 to almost 88 miles an hour. He was sitting at 90, 91 last night. So shout out to the Braves. A lot of super great at bats in the bottom of the ninth, but Carlos Estevez, buddy, you better learn Chinese because I think you're not going to be pitching in major leagues much longer. I'm like, that was a brutal ninth inning for him.
And I don't know how many people saw this, but apparently Dominic Smith's mom passed away 2 weeks ago.
R.I.P. That's super sad.
And this was his first game back, and just like what an emotional roller coaster for him. Super happy for him. As a Met, you always wanted him to succeed, and then he goes, he's kind of been a journeyman at this point. He's landing in Atlanta. But just pumped for him. If the Braves have to win, I'm glad it's on his shoulders. Dude, let's talk about Bryce Harper. He gets called out by his GM, President of Baseball Operations, Dave Dombrowski, in the offseason, calling him not elite. And then he goes on this whole, tirade of he is elite.
Press tour, goes on all these podcasts.
Yeah, he goes on this, exactly, saying it lit a fire under me, and then he sucked in the WBC. And now he has continued to suck. 1 for 11. He struck out, bases loaded today, booed by the Philly fans.
Yeah, where is he currently in his contract with Philly? Like, what is he looking like long term? Let me pull this.
I think he's got like 5 or 6 years left. It would be my guess. I think he signed
5 or 6.
Yeah, it's something. He signed like a huge contract.
Yeah, but like I'm like, but that was back. Like I didn't
2019.
That
so he has he'll be a free agent in 2032.
2031.
2032.
Yeah. AAV. I'm like, they're paying him $25 million a year. And listen, I'm like, obviously, yes, he's going to bounce back. He's Bryce Harper, but a 322 OPS, 1 hit to start the year. And other than that home run in the WBC, I'm like, that is really ugly.
That home run that got overlooked almost immediately because they lost the game.
Exactly. Like no one, like obviously people would have cared a bunch if that would have ended up leading us to that championship, but it didn't. And in all reality, this Phillies lineup is going to need to figure it out because they can't just rely on Kyle Schwarber to hit home runs.
Does Bryce Harper get traded, or is that a clown question, bro?
Where's Bryce Harper going to go? Where's Bryce Harper going to go? And what
New York City.
Phillies get back?
New York City, but not to the Mets. He's going to the Yankees if he gets traded.
The Yankees?
Yeah, I could see that.
Do the Yankees have enough prospects for that?
Yeah, I saw that they offered I don't know if you saw this, but there was a report that the Yankees tried to get Paul Skeens at the deadline last year and offered all 4 of their top prospects, and the Pirates didn't even answer the phone.
Yeah, I'm like, they're not gonna answer the phone for less than an entire franchise.
But Harper's Harper might be like one of those contracts that we look at maybe as early as this year, and we say, this is looking very Anthony Rendon, Steven Strasburg, like not to just name former teammates and former Nationals of Harper, but those contracts did not age well.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to go as far as Anthony Rendon. Obviously, Bryce Harper has done a lot for the city of Philly.
Bryce Harper plays. He's on the field.
Yeah, Anthony and is not. I don't think he's a terrible human being like Anthony Rendon is. But yes, he can be traded. I feel like the Yankees already have a lot on the books right now, so I don't think it's going to be the Yankees. I could obviously potentially see maybe like a move to Milwaukee. they have a lot
That
of
would be such an aura loss for Bryce Harper. I'm so here for it.
I
I'm
know it
so
would be an
here
aura
for it,
loss,
though.
but like it could be really interesting, and the Brewers have a lot to offer in that farm system. So
Yep.
I could potentially see that. Obviously, that might be a little crazy, but then again, I also think that Philly enjoys misery, and in misery loves company, and I think that Bryce Harper is going to continue to stay in Philly and at least maybe a couple more years. I don't know.
Bro,
I just don't know.
Phillies are on fraud watch.
Oh, 110%. No, we already talked about this. And listen, like if there's any Phillies fans listening to this, we're not trying to hate. You need to look yourself in the mirror and look at this lineup and tell yourself that you're going to win 90 games because realistically, all that you've done is make the playoffs. And yes, you've made a World Series, but you didn't win it. You didn't win it. And the last time you did win it, this team was actually a good team with insane pitching, just a really well-rounded team back in the late 2000s, and that is not what this team is. And it has a couple good pitchers, but
They
would
should be getting
extremely
Zach
concerned.
Wheeler back soon. I saw that he
Yeah.
had like a rehab start or something. He pitched like 2 or 3 innings. He looked good. They'll get him back pretty soon, but I don't know. I don't see the hype. I never saw the hype, if we're being honest. All off season I was like, that's it. That's all they're gonna do. Every other team is getting better, and
So as
you're just
we
running it
as we
back.
as we look at the first series of the year, opening weekend is behind us. What's going on in that brain? What stupid thing are you thinking about that you really think is going to make the impact on this season? What's speaking to you?
Honestly, I'm a big Stearns believer, but this defense might become an issue. This defense might become an issue with the Mets, and if they can hit their way out of it, great. It's a non-issue. But they have a few ground ball pitchers, and if those ground balls are getting through or the plays are not being made, that's a problem. That's a
Yeah,
huge
I'm
problem.
like, listen, I'm like, the defense is one thing, and obviously we talked about that. But if the bats get going and you score enough that one error isn't
Yeah.
going to really matter, then it doesn't matter, and you can't use the defense as an excuse for Lindor potentially starting slow or Carson Benj not panning out a couple weeks from now. You know what I mean? Because yes, that home run was super great, and I'm happy for him. But I still think that he has a lot of growing up to do, and that's obviously a very early take. But I think that he needs to take a second and work on that plate discipline because it did look a little bit rough after.
Yeah, I mean they have a tricky schedule coming up this week. They have at St. Louis and then at San Francisco with no
We're
days
calling the
off.
Cardinals tricky.
It's a lot of traveling early in the year. No days off as well. No days
Yeah,
off.
I don't think that we can use travel as a reason to lose baseball games here. I'm like, that's
Listen,
not.
if they lose tomorrow, that's my excuse, Liam.
Oh, is that right? Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. Well, I'll make sure. I'll make sure to
course.
say that. When any time that I lose on the road, obviously it has nothing to do with hitting the baseball, right?
No, the Cardinals look just so bad. They look just gross. I mean, like it's just
They
bad.
they might mind up being Rockies level terrible this year, but
You
yeah,
guys have a tough schedule too.
We do. Obviously, we're looking. I wouldn't say that the
A's and then
athletics.
D-backs.
Yes, D-backs is going to be tough. I will say that I was taking a look and Shea Langoliers or Shea
Shea
Bangoliers.
Bangoliers.
I am
Dude, such a
very
stud.
nervous to face him this week. He was raking in Toronto. And even though they did get swept, they still played those games super close. I think it was 3-4, 8-7, and then what was the final one? But yes, I think that the A's can very much 5-2. They lost 5-2 today, so a little bit more.
A's are
but
sneaky. A's are really
A's-
sneaky.
A's
That
are-
lineup,
A's-
1 through 9, is pretty freaking good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I would honestly not be surprised if we're looking at a third place A's team this year. Maybe
Second place.
second place
Playoffs.
playoffs.
We'll
you
see.
think you
We'll
think the
see.
Sacramento Athletics are going to be playing playoff baseball? Please enlighten me on this. So you think that they're going to be better than the Rangers? You think they're going to be better than the Angels?
I don't think that they are going to be this 0-3 team that they are. I really think that they're kind of nasty. I do. I don't know if they have the pitching.
But are you going to give me a reason? Why are they nasty? You got to tell me why they're nasty.
Just look up and down that lineup, dude. Rooker, Max Muncy, Bangalier, Soderstrom, Nick Kurtz. I mean, like, these guys are just like, all of them could be, with the exception of Muncy, all of them could be 30 home run guys.
Yeah, but their ace is Luis Severino. I'm like,
yeah, the pitching leaves a little bit to be desired.
Let's take a little.
I don't know, man. I'm fired up about the A's. I'm fired up about them.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, let's just take a second here. Luis Severino, Jeffrey Spings, Luis Morales, Aaron Savali, and Jacob Lopez. I don't know who Jacob Lopez is.
Jacob Lopez. No. Don't sleep on Jacob Lopez.
What do you...
Dude, it sounds like I have
Jacob
like a
who's Jacob Lopez?
It sounds like I have a tinfoil hat on right now. I'm like... No, Jacob Lopez is kind of sneaky good as well.
I don't know, man. That strikeout rate is kind
He's a ball knower. He's totally.
I don't know, man. We'll see, but I honestly think the Mariners are obviously the team to beat. Then I think it's gonna be the Astros, and I think it's gonna be the Angels. I'm like, the Mariners are the clear favorite in the AL West.
For my prediction for the Mets this week, I think I would love 6-1. I think I'll have to go 5-2 though.
Okay.
I think I'll have to go 5-2.
Yeah, I honestly would be very fine with 4-2 for the Braves. You know, I will always say, as long as you win the series, I do not care if you lose the last game, because that is the recipe for success. But I honestly, unfortunately, could also see 3-3. So I think I'm going to go 4-2. I'm going to be optimistic. But listen, we're throwing Bryce Elder out there tomorrow, who just is a soft pitch pitcher, and if his movement isn't moving, then he is useless.
Game over.
And then we have Jose Suarez. Jose Suarez is pitching for us in that second game, and I'm going to that game. I have to watch Jose Suarez pitch.
Who?
Okay, listen. Jose Suarez? Listen, okay, you know who that guy, but you don't know who Jose. Oh my God, you're gonna drive me nuts here, man. That is ridiculous. Okay. We'll be back next week. We want to hear some things that you want to hear on this. Yeah, let us know what you think about some of these players kind of going into this year. Do you think Bryce Harper is going to be traded? Do you think that the Athletics are going to make the playoffs? Obviously, a lot of very interesting takes from my co-host over here.
I love the first weekend of baseball, man. I love the first weekend of baseball.
Things like that.
Underdog Athletics 0-3. I'm still taking them to make the playoffs. You got to. I mean, that's what the first weekend of baseball is for overreacting.
Yeah.
I love it.
And listen, I honestly think that as we go into this season, I think both of our teams have a lot to be positive about. I think that a lot of these offseason moves for the Braves, Yastrzemski and Dominic Smith, clearly look like they're going to be great. Mauricio Dubon, that defense out there at short has been fantastic. I love me some Mauricio Dubon. I don't think he's really going to hit it all, but whatever. At this point, it doesn't really matter. If he can make those gem plays out there, that's all that I really need him to do. So that's honestly who I'm very excited about kind of moving forward. And honestly, Austin Riley looked great. But the person that I'm most concerned about is Ronald Acuna Jr. Only 2 hits to start the year.
Yeah,
Jesus,
but
are we going to do this again?
I was trying to be a casual ball knower and looked at his box score, but then I looked a little bit deeper. He had a ball that could have gone. That could have been a home run very easily.
Yeah, balls were dying today.
Yeah,
balls were dying today. Michael Harris and Matt Olson both hit balls 108 exit velocity and 101 exit velocity that should have left, that didn't. Drake Baldwin's did leave, but I'm like, that's in the area. So yeah.
One thing before we go, I love ABS.
Yes,
I love it.
ABS is so cool.
I love it.
And I don't care what people say. Like, if it's the sliver of the zone, it makes baseball better. And the fact that in the biggest moments of a baseball game that we can have the correct call. Whatever outcome they meet, if we lose, if we win, that it's right.
It's the new bat flip, man. People are Rosarena the other day going down first base, like confident as hell. Like I love it. And I'm all for embarrassing umpires.
It's 100%. So great. I don't know who
hold them accountable. That is what it's. That is.
Did you see that umpire that was like being embarrassed on the biggest stage, buddy? Listen, it is the last couple years have been some of the worst umping that I've seen, and all these players like, the umps have the hardest job in baseball.
The CB Buckner thing this weekend was pretty iconic.
God, he is
overturned 6 calls. I'm here for it. I'm so here for it.
I'm very excited. But then again, we also have to talk about the fact that, for instance, the Braves challenged 2 in the first inning. 3 outs hadn't been recorded, and it was gone. So,
Walt Weiss, what are you doing, man?
It exactly. Like, it has to do with...
I'd be screaming at the TV.
Yeah, so
I imagine you were.
Yeah, I was pissed. I was like... And at the end of the day... That is what's going to make a good baseball team right now. It's like,
there's definitely strategy to the ABS system, and I'm excited to see it, continue to evolve. But
as we go into the playoffs, one final thing that I'll say: as we go into the playoffs, there's going to be a moment. Yeah,
Braves playoffs. I don't know about that.
Whatever. I was just going to make a really interesting point, but whatever, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us. This has been Division Therapy. We'll talk to you next week. And as always,
see ya.